At the Home Depot, get up to 15% off all installed carpet projects for a limited time. Featuring brands like LifeProof with pet-proof technology, Home Decorators Collection, and Traffic Master. Take your pick of carpet built for real life and designed for real comfort. Plus, with installation starting as low as 49 cents per square foot and a free measure to get you started, we'll handle the hard parts for you. Offer valid July 16th, 2026 through August 2nd, 2026. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
This episode is brought to you by Facebook. So you were scrolling on Marketplace, and there it was, the bike you'd been searching for. You sent a message, and it turned out the seller was super chatty, kind of funny, and an avid cyclist. The next thing you know, you're in a cycling crew. Well, a community cycling group. The thing about Facebook, you might find more than what you're looking for. From a browse to a bike ride, this summer find more on Facebook.
This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy. Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn into a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess. At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards premieres August 5th on FX and Hulu.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel. Okay, we are at our final week of going through fantastic composers and their filmographies with a look at the one and only Danny Elfman. And here to join me, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I am so excited to talk about this. Almost as excited as I am that Danny Elfman is currently touring a 10-date tour and coming to our local town.
Right?
So, yay.
I've always been fascinated by this, by composers who either bring small ensembles or full-on orchestras, town to town playing score music. I mean, we talked about this when we did the John Williams episode about how they showed The Empire Strikes Back, and then you got to see the live orchestra played. Hans Zimmer, I know, does this a lot. Danny Elfman's would be interesting, though, because while there are some really, really good iconic films in there, the sounds can get a little quirky, especially from his Tim Burton filmography.
Well, that's exactly it. And to see it live, I think it would be a sight to behold.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right, well, here's what we're going to do for our final week looking at composers. By the way, we will probably revisit this this kind of genre of Keep Watch Passes somewhere down the road because there are a ton of other composers. We've only scratched the surface of just some of these. And I think we've got 4 really big name composers in this short little section, but I'd be happy to go down this road again.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of ground to cover. And what's interesting after starting this project is that I am becoming far more aware of the background music of movies. I mean, we just talked about this in Six-Headed Shark, where I was like, oh, the score is really good on this one.
Right?
The music is really adding to this scene. And I'm becoming far more aware. I am opening my ears to what's going on.
Right. Well, we're going to pick 3 films each. Keep watching it pass. Now, keeping in mind that we are making our picks based on the movie themselves, not necessarily based on the score. So when we get to our pass pick, it's not necessarily an indictment on Danny Elfman's score per se. It just, it's the movie. It's the movie itself. So, Carrie, I'm going to start with you. Are you Captain Obvious on this one? Because I have a feeling you might be Captain Obvious on this one with your keep pick.
I am intrigued. I'm going to let you select for me and see if you're right or wrong.
How is it not Batman?
It is not Batman.
What?
I did write Batman as an honorable mention because obviously
okay,
to me, the original Batman. Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson is the Joker. The incredibly beautiful Kim Basinger is Vicky Vale. I love everything about this movie. I can quote big chunks of this movie. The music, let's be honest, Prince and the Bat Dance, come on. I mean...
The Batoozy.
The score to that movie aside, the movie was absolute perfection. You're right. However, you're wrong. It's not my keep.
You're right, but you're not.
You're very close. You know me to an extent that you knew that I would at least write it down because I'd want to talk about it.
Right.
However, we cannot overlook the yearly tradition, our holiday tradition of wrapping Christmas gifts, drinking eggnog in way too big bowl cups with way too much whipped cream on top, and maybe a candy cane.
There is no such thing as too much whipped cream.
And right, but I'm watching Scrooged. Oh, sorry, I'm keeping Scrooged. I actually
fair.
As I'm talking right now, I did a little reversal, an Uno reversal card. I can't not keep Scrooged because it is our holiday tradition.
That's the thing. Even if you had picked Batman, Scrooged, even though it was your second pick, it doesn't match the, almost like the level of watch film because it is that good to you.
It is. I hold this movie near and dear to my heart. Again, we watch it every year. It becomes a part of the holidays. I hide out in the basement. I put the movie on. I put our fireplace on and I wrap gifts. And the kids know, okay, mom's in her office downstairs. We're not going to go downstairs. We're just going to let her be for about 2 hours. This is mom's time. And I wrap gifts. And that's my holiday tradition. And so naturally, I actually had it as my watch, but I have to put it in high regard. I am keeping...
One must elevate, yes.
Bill Murray and his performance in Scrooge.
I remember one of the very first Keep Watch Passes that we did in the very first year that we were doing Keep Watch Pass. If I remember correctly, we were talking about Christmas movies. And of course, Scrooged is one of our Christmas traditions around here. Right up there kind of like with The Ref, because that's kind of right up our alley. Violent Night has kind of come into our Christmas movie lexicon. We don't necessarily do... Like, Scrooged might be the most traditional Christmas movie that we have of the movies that we watch around the holidays.
And Home Alone. You did forget to mention Home Alone because...
Fair.
Yeah, that one gets played. Oh, and of course, Rudolph.
Okay, the classic Rankin and Bass Rudolph. Okay, yeah. I will...
And Frosty.
Those will be the most traditional. Scrooged may be the most traditional live action. But then the minute people start to get hurt, that's when we're in. Hurt or maimed or killed.
So Home Alone, definitely.
And Violent Night for sure.
And The Ref, yep.
Okay, I'm going to be Captain Obvious then for my keep pick. Because I know I've talked about this movie before a few times. And if you actually go to our coming soon page, which dear listeners, I'm sorry. I apologize. I have been a very, very, very bad webmaster in not updating the coming soon page because there's one movie that has been on that list that has been on my coming soon on the whiteboard on my wish list to do because I cannot believe it actually qualifies. For years I have waited to do this film and we have not done it yet. Terminator Salvation.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one coming. However, we've been busy.
We have been very busy around here.
We've been consistently watching really bad, really good, horrible movies.
Really good, really bad. They're bad. That's a new word now. They're bad. But the thing is, I know Terminator Salvation gets a little bit of flack, probably because of the Sam Worthington reveal just being so kind of out there. But take a look at the cast of this, right? Christian Bale, Bryce Dallas Howard, Anton Yelchin, Moon Bloodgood, Sam Worthington, of course. Like this is really, really underrated. When I first heard that they were doing a Terminator film that takes place, and this is like one of the only Terminator films that takes place post-Judgment Day, I'm like, oh, this is going to be really, really cool. And then they're like, it's going to be directed by McG. Uh-oh. But then I watch it, I'm like, this is fantastic. Like, we only ever got snippets leading up to Terminator Salvation. We only ever got snippets of the post-Judgment Day, post-Skynet kind of world. In those little, the Terminators are attacking the humans in those like little mini moments in Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And then, of course, you had Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. And, people were like, oh, it's not that good. It's not that good. Until you get to the end of the film, and it may be one of the best endings of a Terminator film, period. But Salvation? Like, don't sleep on this film. Just because it qualifies, and yes, it does qualify, don't be hating on this. Like, Anton Yelchin is great. I wish they had given Bryce Dallas Howard a little bit more, but I'm looking forward to one day eventually covering Terminator Salvation.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
I get so many headaches every month.
It could be chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those who have 14 or fewer headache days a month. Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor. Visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
For my watch pick, I'm going with a movie that we talked about this a little bit with like Hans Zimmer, where you look at the film and you take a look at a lot of the filmmakers that they traditionally work with. Most people hear Danny Elfman, the first thing that comes to mind is Tim Burton, because that is a lock solid working relationship between the two. It's almost like when Tim Burton writes words on the page, Danny Elfman's ears are burning. Kind of the way it feels. But this is nowhere near a Tim Burton film. And yet, we have Danny Elfman. Good Will Hunting. What a fantastic freaking film. Actually written by Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. This is one of the best Robin Williams performances out there. And I'm taking a look at my films and I'm realizing that as much as Danny Elfman and Tim Burton seem to be synonymous with each other, none of my films in my keep, watch, or pass are Tim Burton picks. This one's directed by Gus Van Sant. Obviously, we talked about McG directing Terminator Salvation. So I find it fascinating that I'm outside of Burton world when talking about Danny Elfman. But I mean, how freaking good is Good Will Hunting?
I completely forgot that it was scored by Danny Elfman.
Yeah, and it's not the movie that comes to mind. I mean, neither really is Terminator Salvation, but that just goes to show how musically diverse some of these composers are. And, yes, because we're broken around this house, anytime I think Good Will Hunting, I immediately, the first quote that comes to mind is not actually from the movie. it's from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Applesauce, bitch. But I freaking love this film. It's such an underrated pick, even though it is like an Oscar winner. Fantastic film.
And the score was epic.
I don't know if I'd call it epic, but it was
nice.
It was perfect for the tonality of the film. That's the thing. Like, you don't necessarily want a composer who's going to come in and shoehorn their sound into a movie. That's not what a composer's there to do. A composer's there to almost hear the music in the pictures in front of them and then complement that. That's what Danny Elfman does. Even though, yes, there is a Danny Elfman sound, but really only when working with Tim Burton. It's these films outside of the Burtonverse that Danny Elfman shows, or at least gets to show off, that versatility in his scores. Now over to you for your watch pick.
Well, talking about versatility, I am talking about the world created. You know that I love a good mafia movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Dick Tracy was a world that was created on film in moving picture. And oh my God, first of all, I mean, the soundtrack.
Right.
Like Madonna as Breathless Mahoney. Oh my God, she was everything. You know what? This, I would dare say, is one of my favorite comic book adaptation, one of my favorite gangster movies. I mean, the soundtrack, is so incredibly singable and quotable. And it's just so fun. The characters, I mean, everybody played their parts so well.
That's the thing. 1990, when it came to comic book films, I mean, yes, there was Batman that came out, I think it was like 89 the year before. And, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. There are certain aspects of it that, you sit there and you take a look at Tim Burton and go, did you read the comic books? And there's other parts where like, yeah, Dick Tracy is so fun and pleasant. And I like the fact that even though it is a big name comic from back in the day, an old school comic book strip, but they leaned into it. Like, this may be one of the best. You take a look at the comic book films from 1985 to 1995, and I think you kind of have to block it into that 10-year span. Dick Tracy may be one of the best ones of that 10-year span, and yet only a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, that seems egregiously low, and I don't understand it.
Unfair.
It is
because
unfair.
It was so good.
And the popcorn meter on Rotten Tomatoes is 53%.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't understand the hate on this. It's a popcorn film based on a classic comic book strip. You had Madonna, literally peak Madonna, maybe the most peak point of her entire career. You got Warren Beatty. When Warren Beatty was very popular, you had so many good actors. You had a really well-directed film, and yet it's not higher than what it was. And I don't understand the hate on that one. Like, Pacino is Big Boy Caprice. Dustin Hoffman is Mumbles. And now, again, we've talked about this before. Is there the weight of expectation? Warren Beatty, Al Pacino, Madonna, Dustin Hoffman, Kathy Bates, Dick Van Dyke, Glenn Headley, James Caan, Paul Sorvino. Like, a lot of Mandy Patinkin's in this. It's a lot of really, really, really big names in this.
Okay, but they did not fumble the ball at all.
No,
stylistically, it brought the comic pages to life. It was so colorful and it was so stylized that, I mean, this movie deserves way more respect than it received.
Oh, hells yeah. And I mean, the funny thing is, this is actually directed by Warren Beatty as well. Like, full credit where credit is due. Like, to come in, and had only directed 2 films prior to this, Heaven Can Wait and Reds. What the heck did people not like about Dick Tracy? I do not freaking understand it. I don't.
Fascinating. It wasn't even on my radar that it was sitting so low.
Yeah. It doesn't qualify for the podcast. We can't actually talk about it, but it may be one of the better. Now, I recognize that the original 1994 Crow exists. And if you're taking a look at that 10-year span, I put The Crow very high up there as well. But
and The Watchmen.
Okay, but I'm talking about in that 10-year span. But also, when you take a look at comic books that were not DC or Marvel and being adapted to movies, Dick Tracy, The Crow, in that 10-year span might be the best of them. And yet it almost qualifies. Almost. All right, well, now we get to our past picks of movies scored by Danny Elfman. So what have you got?
Okay, full disclaimer here. I'm not passing on the soundtrack, the score, the actors. I, to defend, was really, really looking forward to the return to Beetlejuice. With Beetlejuice. And I just said it 3 times, so I have opened some kind of portal to the underworld.
Hell.
I was really looking forward to the second movie. I wanted to see where they went with it. And I just felt like it fell flat. It maybe it was me, right? I feel like a weight of ownership on this, that maybe I built it up too much and was just so excited, but went to the movie theater, first weekend release, bought the tickets. I was, had my popcorn. I was ready. And it was okay, but I think it just was missing something. It was missing, I don't know, the almost like creative, like we're in this world of Beetlejuice and the underworld and all of the reincarnations of Beetlejuice's friends. I guess you could say they weren't friends. They certainly were acquaintances in the underworld. And remember the woman, the gatekeeper, who had the book of the recently deceased. The book of the recently diseased. No, deceased. Yeah, you know what? The first movie was just so enjoyable that the second one left me a little disappointed. And I think it was me. I don't want to knock on the movie at all. I mean, the incredible performance of Catherine O'Hara, mad respect, absolutely love her. Winona Ryder, come on, who could not love? I mean, I don't know what it was, but it just didn't quite meet the mark. I mean, Michael Keaton was so much fun, came back in the role like no time had passed. But I don't know, maybe it was just missing like the dance scene, like the
well, there's something to be said.
Come and I want to go home.
There's something to be said about something that becomes iconic. And I don't know if I'd classify the first Beetlejuice as a hit, but more like a cult classic. But the thing is, sometimes, and Hollywood, if you're listening, maybe start to listen here. Sometimes you just need to let things lie. You don't need a sequel to anything. And I recognize that there's this stretch where they were tapping into franchises that were 30, 40 years older, and they're leaning into the nostalgia factor. And Hollywood does this all the frickin' time. And they're still doing this today. Don't get me wrong. I loved the Masters of the Universe new movie. Did we need a new one? No. Am I happy we got one? Hells yeah, because the old one wasn't all that great. Beetlejuice, though, was a cult classic. And maybe in that, or at least was in that collection of movies that you don't want them to do a sequel. Like, if they ever come back and try to do a Princess Bride 2, there will be pitchforks at dawn Because I do not want that, because the first one is so damn perfect.
You know, it's so funny because when they make announcements of the sequel, the long-awaited 30 years, I mean, Bill and Ted was a perfect example of this.
Mhm.
I was waiting for new Bill and Ted. I was waiting for a new Beetlejuice. And then you watch something that you held in such high regard from your childhood and you have such fond nostalgic memories, and then it just doesn't quite.
It's that moment of like, you feel like that scene in Fanboys, like right at the end where they sit down in the theater to watch The Phantom Menace and then look at it and go, hey, what if it sucks?
Yeah. Right?
And there are times when I see a movie, you know, a rehash or a sequel or whatever be announced. I'm like, okay, but what if it sucks? Now, I'm not saying the Beetlejuice sucked. It has a 75% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. We will not be talking about that on It's Not That Bad. But I mean, you yourself said you loved this film, the original. Sometimes you don't want anyone to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And just let things go and write new things. There are so many writers out there with so many good ideas that have not ever been made. And you see, the blacklist comes out every year, right? And the list of scripts, the best scripts that haven't been picked up. And every now and then something gets picked up on the blacklist, and we're like, why was this not made earlier? Like, tell new stories, Hollywood. Tell new stories. Bring in new writers, new voices, new visions, new worlds. And only look at nostalgia if it's good and it's done right. Now, remember, there was the talk of a sequel coming out of after the first Beetlejuice called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. And I'm glad they didn't do that, but I kind of sort of want to see that too in a weird kind of way, but I don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it would probably be just not funny, although at least it'd be different. All right. For my pass, I am straight up saying right now that the Danny Elfman score may very well be the best thing about this film. Because there is not much else good about the Ang Lee directed Hulk film. 2003, starring Eric Bana. There's so much wrong with this film. And yet, we cannot talk about it on It's Not That Bad. Because somehow this stinking pile of CGI has a 63% tomatometer.
Missed it by that much.
Yet the popcorn meter sits at 29%.
Whoa.
Were
the critics on the take?
I don't know. I do wonder, because Ang Lee, in directing this film, now this is of course coming after Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which was just a beautiful freaking film. And there's a lot of, praise and lauding of Ang Lee's ability as a director going into this film. And he tried to make it into a comic book film. He was transitioning in some cases from scene to scene by doing like weird comic book transition panels. And I'm like, The technology of the day was not ready for a Hulk film. It wasn't. Between Eric Bana and Jennifer Connelly together, I know everyone's like, oh yeah, we'll bring this person back from this movie and this person back from this movie for like Avengers Doomsday and like all this multiversal stuff. And everyone was so happy when like Wesley Snipes came back as Blade and, and Jennifer Garner came back as Elektra. And please leave Eric Bana out of this. I'm sorry, but no. This is not a good film. Nick Nolte is straight up Nick Nolteing all over the place on this, and not in a good way. Sam Elliott as General Ross may have been the best casting choice for the film. And okay, gets a pass from me on this one, but there is so much freaking wrong with this film to the point where I feel like those involved in the film should just be apologizing to comic book kind all the time, because it still exists out there. They took a big swing. Hulk is one of those, grade A level comic book characters. And I still think to this day that the Incredible Hulk, the one with Ed Norton, gets unfairly maligned. I actually like that film. I also like the fact that they bypassed the origin story to get right into the Hulk story. I was like, cool, all right, done. We all know. Yeah, Gamma, boom. Okay, let's get into the movie. This film, it was ambitious. I'll give it that. And if the critics are handing out participation points, then okay, you tried something different. And you'll notice, dear listeners, that no one else has tried to make a movie like Hulk the way Ang Lee did. Why? It didn't work. But still, you do have to give a little bit of a hat tip to the effort and at least the style of the time, because the MCU didn't exist and wouldn't exist for another 5 years at this point. And yet, here we are, throwing our CGI hat into the ring and burning up multiple render farms in order to make Hulk. Even at the time, I was like, meh. Like, I bought a lot of DVDs. This is one I skipped on. It just is what it is. And if you want to watch a fever dream, there's your fever dream right there. Okay, Carrie, let's remind our listeners what your keep, watch, and past picks are of movies scored by Danny Elfman.
I am keeping Scrooged, watching Dick Tracy, and passing on Beetlejuice with an honorable mention to the one and only, to me, Batman. I know that is a arguable point, but
I mean, you almost have to put something from Tim Burton into the mix, even if it's just an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that score, the fact that they used the Batman theme from that score as the intro for the Batman the Animated Series, which is one of the best superhero-based animated series of all time, hat tip. Absolutely.
And in Uno Reverso, I would also want to give props to the original Beetlejuice.
Oh, heck yeah.
Loved that movie.
You don't get Beetlejuice without having Beetlejuice. The success of the first one led way to moderate success for the second one, just not your pick, not your cup of tea. For me, my keep is Terminator Salvation, my watch is Good Will Hunting, and my pass is Hulk. Only one of those movies we'll talk about on It's Not That Bad, and I'm hoping one day to be able to finally get Terminator Salvation off the list, and maybe one day update the Coming Soon page. Gary, thank you so much for this, and to you, our dear listeners, well, you know the drill. If there is a topic that you want us to cover on Keep, Watch, Pass, or a movie that you want us to cover on It's Not That Bad, hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast, or go to our website, notthatbadcast.com, where maybe one day I will finally update the Coming Soon page. Until next time, geez, Carrie, I'm Jay, you guys are awesome. This is Keep, Watch, Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.
That refresh you've been putting off until the right deal came along? It's here! Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale is happening now, so you can finally get the style you've been waiting for less. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
I'm Glenn Washington, host of Snap Judgment, the award-winning storytelling podcast from KQED. Every week, Snap deals a new card. like the girl whose sister was a monkey, or the man who lived in the woods for 30 years, or even the woman who snuck her lover out of prison in a dog crate. Pick a card, any card. Tap to listen now to Snap Judgment from KQED on Spotify.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.